Okay everyone, as promised, today we are taking a look at the UEFA Champions League and what this new look competition has in store for Celtic this season. And it's pretty complex, let's just say, but as always with these kind of UEFA explainer videos I do, I try and make it very, very simple so that a Rangers fan could understand it, for example, though maybe that's asking for a bit too much. Certainly, I always say you should be able to understand it. You've been in your night out, Friday night, it's about 3 a.m, you're sitting in your living room, Don or Hoagie in front of you, you're steaming, you're watching this, you should still be able to understand it. But if that is you, get yourself up to bed, you're embarrassing yourself. Did you know that the UEFA Champions League format has changed for this season? I hope the answer to that is yes. If it is no, we've got a lot of work to do in this video. Yes, new formats come in. As I say, there's a bit to talk about and explain. In fact, David Logan got in touch saying, I want Stevie to explain it. David, unfortunately, Stevie is not on today, so you'll have to make do with me. What?
Evening, Hamish. Oh no, wait, it's morning, isn't it? Anyway, don't worry about that. Right, I believe I was tasked by you via someone in the comments on the community page on the Celtic AM channel to try and explain the draw or facts about it, right? And everybody sees me as an ignoramus, rightly so. But I did do a bit of reading on it and chorus and a date's guide to the draw. I'll try and condense it all in 60 seconds, so we go for a wee timer starting now. Right, the dates are going to be played. There's going to be games in September all the way to the end of January. So yeah, I was stunned by this. I thought it was going to be September to like the start of January, but there's only one game in December, I believe 2 in January, 1 in October, 2 in November and 2 in September. I hope I've got that right. The money, the pot, right? 75% of the pot for all UEFA competitions goes towards the Champions League this season. And I think for a win, you get 2.1 million and 700k for a draw, which the Celtic board will be loving. I better hurry up here, right? And so instead of the boring groups of 4, 8 groups of 4, there's going to be the big Super League group that you could really create in the old sensible soccer. 1 to 8 go straight into the knockout stage. And then 9 to 24 is a playoff. And if you win the playoff, hold on, I'm looking at now, £1 million if you even win a playoff game. And then if you get into the knockout of 16, £11 million per club. And then after that, the money just goes up and up. So there you go, that's a wee foolproof guide to it. Hope that's what you were after, Hamish.
Yep, a great guide, Stevie. I think everything you said there was factually correct, even if you were a bit obsessed with the months and read them out in a strange order. I appreciate you sending that in, Stevie. Thank you. Hopefully you're happy, David. Yes, the 32 group stage is no more, as Stevie says. It's been replaced by one single league of 36 teams. We actually now know 32 of those 36 teams. The final 4 will be confirmed tonight. But this is what we're looking at right now. There we are in pot 3. Yes, pot 3, brilliant stuff, but it doesn't actually really matter because the pots are not really too important for this draw. That's because each team there will be drawn against 2 teams from each pot, including their own. So Celtic will face 2 of those teams in pot 1. One of them will be at Celtic Park, one will be away from home. We'll face 2 teams from pot 2, one at Celtic Park, one away from home. 2 teams from pot 3, one at Celtic Park, one away from home. And 2 teams from pot 4, one at Celtic Park. I think you know the rest, it's 1 away from home. So we'll have a total of 8 matches, 4 at home, 4 away from home. Every result will be plumbed into this giant 36-team league table, which is going to be a hell of a sight to look at. A league table with 36 teams. You know, like in big leagues, Europe or England or whatever, you have a top and a bottom. It's going to need to split it up into like 4 parts, I think. But anyway, it's hardly the biggest issue. At the end of all this, so after every team has played 8 games, the top 8 teams will be put through straight to the round of 16. The next 16 teams below them, so that's places 9 to 24, will be through to the playoff round. That's the one that Brendan Rodgers has been very public in targeting. He thinks Celtic can and should be there. So that'll be 16 teams. They play off against each other, with the 8 winners joining the 8 that have already qualified to make the round of 16. Are you getting me? Hopefully, yes. Another thing you should hopefully know by now, the bottom 12 teams in the big league, so if you finish 25th or lower, you're eliminated from Europe altogether. So no drop out or drop into the Europa League like we had previously. So we need to finish in the top 24 if we want to have any knockout matches this season. From the knockout rounds, and I'm not going to spend too long on this because it's not relevant right now to Celtic, and based on our recent European record, there's a chance it might not be relevant at all. But anyway, once we get to the knockout rounds, there'll be a seeding system in place, a bit like tennis. So you'll basically have like, if we were to finish 24th in the big league, for example, we'd likely be drawn against 9th. So like the best of that section in the next knockout round. So that's how they're doing it. Kind of think like tennis, how the big players like Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz don't play the big guns until later on. They're trying to do the same thing with the Champions League from the knockout round onwards. I think they are still planning some sort of a draw in a weird way, but we don't need to worry about that for now. We'll worry about that when Celtic have convincingly qualified for the knockouts, eh? Right, 36 teams. Celtic will play 8 of them once. I've seen a few people suggest that there's like UEFA's going to split this into like groups. Even though we don't have actual groups, they're still going to split teams into groups. There's no groups. No groups at all. This is like basically going to be random. We can play 2 teams from each pot. Obviously, there are a few restrictions in that. Aidan O'Brien asking, is there a limit on how many teams from the same country you can play? Yes, Aidan, teams from the same country can't face each other. So Manchester City couldn't draw Arsenal, for example, at all. That obviously doesn't affect us because we're the only Scottish team in the draw. Daniel Fraser was wondering if Rangers will be participating in the draw. No, Daniel, they've got their wee draw on Friday to find out what other wee teams that they can face. So they have to wait until Friday for that. So no, basically that means that every other of the teams, so all other 35 teams are options for us. We could face any of them. However, there is a restriction on the amount of teams from the same country that you can play, which I think is what Aidan was getting at with his question. And that restriction is at a maximum of 2. So that basically means we could face 2 teams from England, 2 teams from Germany, 2 teams from Spain, but you couldn't face any more. So we're not going to be drawn with Arsenal, Manchester City, who's the other teams? Aston Villa and Liverpool, I think. Yeah, we're not going to be drawn against all 4 of them. We could only play a maximum of 2 English teams. We could only play a maximum of 2 German teams, 2 Italian teams, 2 Spanish teams, etc. Again, hopefully that's pretty simple. Just moving to the draw itself, it will take place at the rather plush Grimaldi Forum in Monte Carlo, and that will be conducted at 5 p.m. Celtic Park time on Thursday. UEFA says that the actual draw will take 35 minutes. I believe that's how long the actual draw took last year. Unfortunately for all of us, UEFA hasn't worked in all the time they spend fannying about during that draw, before, during and after, all the daft awards they give out, the daft interviews. We're still going to have to put up all of that. The draw will still probably take about an hour and a half, if not longer, but the actual draw itself, the important part, they reckon will take 35 minutes. Now, the draw will be almost entirely automated this year. As I understand it, they'll start with pot 1, and basically the 9 teams will each, have the wee bit of paper inside the ball. There'll be 9 balls in the pot for pot 1, and the bit of the draw that is actually manual will be someone will go in and pick out one of the balls. So say for pot 1, say first out the hat is Real Madrid. A button will then be pressed and voila, you'll get all of Real Madrid's 8 fixtures up on screen. So as much as we'll have to wait till pot 3 balls are drawn to find out all of our fixtures, like we will know some of our fixtures by that point because they'll come up from other teams. So like Real Madrid's fixtures could come up and it'll be like Arsenal away, Bayern Munich at home, Aston Villa away. I'm running out of teams here, and then bang, Celtic away from home, and we'll be like, oh wow, we're playing Real Madrid and our ball hasn't even been called yet. So basically you need to switch on for all of this draw, and if you're good at maths like me, you'll know that by the time we get to pot 3 and Celtic's ball is drawn, we'll already know 4 of our 8 fixtures. We'll then find out the other 4 when that button is pressed, and you'll see all of our fixtures there. But they're not the final fixtures and dates and all of that kind of stuff. Erin Jack got in touch. Do you know when we will be told what home or away fixtures are for booking up? It used to be the following day, but is it now straight away as soon as the draw is finished? No, you're not going to know straight away. The teams will come out. You'll know the teams that we're going to face. I think we'll know what one of them are at home, which ones are away as well. But they're not going to be in the order that the fixtures are actually going to be played. We'll have to wait until Saturday, unfortunately, to find out our fixture order, dates and times as well. In short, this is so that UEFA can balance loads of different things they have going on. Like, for example, making sure that teams from the same city aren't at home on the same night. Like, we aren't playing at Celtic Park on the same night Rangers are playing at Ibrox, for example. And I know straight away you're thinking, oh no, but they're Thursday nights, we're Tuesday and Wednesdays. In the main, yes, but there's a little bit of a change to that as well that I'll come on to in a little bit of a second. Oh, my brain's fried. Anyway, UEFA also want to balance the fixture, so they don't want, say, Celtic, for example, starting with Real Madrid away, Manchester City home. They don't want the 2 pot 1 teams coming out first. They want it to be balanced, so you'd maybe get pot 1 team on match day 2 and match day 5, or match day 3 and match day 6, something like that. I don't know if that's going to be possible. It seems like a hell of a headache for people at UEFA, but I believe they've drafted in quite a well-known company to run the software, and they've got Ernst & Young. Is that the financial company? They've got them involved as well to make sure everything is fair. They're going to be doing a report on it afterwards. Can't wait to read that. I'm sure that'll be riveting. Just on the schedule stuff that I've kind of hinted at already. Gerard Bailey, I think I'd heard that matches on match day 1 will be played on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. The other match days would be on Tuesday and Wednesday only. 1, can you confirm if this is the case? 2, find out the rationale for this. Is it for some kind of match day 1 showcase of the new format? Yes, you're bang on, Gerald. Match day 1 of the Champions League will be played across 3 days: Tuesday 17th of September, Wednesday 18th of September, Thursday 19th of September. This is because each UEFA competition, so Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, will all have an exclusive match day during the league phase where the other 2 competitions don't have matches that week. It basically gives them all a kind of showcase week, basically. The Champions League's one is on match day 1, hence the 3-day fixture card. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Match days 2 to 7 will be back to the normal Tuesday to Wednesday that we've become accustomed to with the Champions League. However, the final match day will see every team playing at the same time, 8 p.m, on Wednesday the 29th of January. That's for obvious reasons, because results could be affecting each other and you don't want teams going out knowing what result they need. It makes sense for every match to be at the same time. And just on the kick-off times, no real change there. It'll be 8 p.m. mainly. Each day we'll see 2 matches getting an early kick-off, 5:45 p.m. Celtic Park time. So we'll have some early kick-offs. I think certainly our 4 matches at Celtic Park will be at 8 p.m. That's usually, I think with the kind of British teams, they tend to keep the home matches at 8 p.m. Maybe a couple of away matches will be at 5:45. Right, Big Tone 9480 asking the important question. Hamish, do you think this new Champions League format will be an improvement on the old format? I know there's more matches to play which could provide financial benefits, but I think that that could come at a cost domestically. What do you think, big man? Big Tone, I fail to see any downside to this new format. That's my genuine opinion. I know a lot of people don't like change, and they'll say maybe the group stage wasn't broken, so why try to fix it? I think this is going to be a lot better. I mean, simple point, you enjoy every Celtic game, you're up for every Celtic game, but what are the ones that really, really get you going? Derbies, potentially trips to Tynecastle, Easter Road, Pittodrie, and end of season games when things are getting really interesting. These are the games that you can't sleep at night before, and also European matches, the ones where you're tested against a different level of opposition. They're the ones that will really get Brendan Rodgers going, the players really get them going, the fans. It's where Celtic need to be trying to put themselves at that top level. And we're going to have 2 more of those matches this year. So that's good right away. We're going to play pot 4 teams this time as well. We didn't do that previously. So the extra 2 matches are, in theory, going to be ones that we can try and win. So we're going to have more competitive matches there, which I think is exciting. And I just think generally the format of the competition maybe needed a wee change. And I think it should hopefully, bring some new life into the UEFA Champions League. So I can't wait for it. Just the thought of having 8 matches to look forward to at that top level rather than just 6 seems like a pretty big difference. And obviously if we do well, we've got the opportunity for at least another 2 going forward. Just realising, I don't think I even mentioned, you probably know this though, that the league phase matches will go all the way until the end of January. So we've actually still only got 6 before Christmas, as was the case previously. We're going to now have a couple of additional ones in January, so it's going to be brilliant. Right, Adam Gallagher, how many points realistically do we need to get to the next stage, and do you think we will wear all 3 kits in the tournament? I have genuinely no idea about the kits. In terms of your points question, earlier today, just for you, I simmed 7 seasons of the new format on Football Manager, the latest Football Manager, and the points required to finish 24th were as follows. Now keep an eye on 24th here. 8, 10, 9, 10, 10, 10, and 10. There's a lot of 10s there. So no team ever missed out on a top 24 spot on 10 points. Teams did miss out on 9. So I reckon 10 points is definitely going to get you there. 9 could do it, 8 could do it, but 10 is certainly what we should be aiming for. And I reckon Football Manager is going to be pretty realistic with all of these results and that kind of thing. 10 points, it's a bit of a tall order, I would say, against Europe's best, but 4 games at Celtic Park, 12 up for grabs there alone. If we can turn Celtic Park into a fortress, we may be doing all right. Final thing I wanted to mention just before I go, in terms of the UK TV rights, the vast majority of matches will still be shown on TNT Sports. However, they have lost their exclusivity. Amazon Prime will broadcast the kind of most exciting match, in theory, every Tuesday of the competition, with the rest on TNT. BBC have a highlights programme on a Wednesday night, every Wednesday of the tournament. They've already started that with the qualifying. I believe it's on tonight. Ailey Barber was certainly hosting it last week, so that's exciting. I know around the world, Stan Sports have the rights here in Australia, CBS in the States. Prize money is up dramatically for the tournament. I've done a video on that already a couple of months ago. It's up there somewhere, so check that out. And we just need to sign some players now and make this really worthwhile. I can't wait for it, everyone. The draw's on Thursday. We'll chat a little bit more about that tomorrow. Speak to you then.